but I'm glad to have you with us. I'll just say very early on, of course, we welcome the person who wrote the problem, attorney, the attorney scenario, Madam Justice Alucard Stubbs, who is up front here with us. And of course, my fellow tutors from all the other law schools and from here. All of that I said I'm not going to repeat, but I hope they can catch it. So that's just a quick welcome. Just a couple of bits of housekeeping before we start. I'm going to ask persons to please turn off your cell phones. Why? Because they're using the wireless lapel mics, and sometimes your phones, even though they're on vibrate, can give a feedback because those mics are very sensitive. So I'm just going to ask you all to do that. Further, once a team is actually in the room in the middle of doing their interview, persons are not allowed to leave or enter the room. So persons can only enter between team 1 and team 2, and between team 2 and team 3. But once the team is actually performing, ensure that your cell phones are off and the room must remain quiet. Why? Because the setting is meant to be an attorney's office. So there's no audience, don't clap, don't sigh, don't make expressions or sound. That throws off the students in what they're doing, and because we respect the hard work they have done and their tutors have done in preparing them, give them that opportunity to be at their best while they're in the room. So that's the first part. The second part is we have a bag here because I told them yesterday, just as we have anonymous grading at the law schools, we have anonymous assessing for our competition. And therefore, they simply have the numbers 1, 2, and 3. So the teams are not identified by any other means, save and except this. I will fold this up, put it in the bag, and I'm going to ask the reserve person from each team to come forward and select a number. Whichever number, whoever gets 1, your team, the 2 advocates, will go in the back to get your lapel mics. Everything is already set up, so you just have to be connected. And then you come up and you have your 5 minutes to arrange your office as you desire. Once you're ready, thereafter, the client will knock. The secretary will let them in, do the needed, and introduce them to you. And as we said yesterday, from there, the time runs. And you know, it is a self-timing event. That means what? We do not hold up signs saying 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. So you'll be timed by the assessors, and they will tell you, stop, if you have not yet finished any time frame that we have. Are there any questions before we start? We good? So the judges are going to come in now. Please, you bring the judges in now, please. Can I have the reserve persons come forward, please? I think I'm going to pick up. Yes, me too. Slides, please. You all notice, by the way, it's a Mont Blanc bag. So can I have the person from Peabody Law School, please? Okay. Can you turn and let us know what it is?
Got number 3.
3. Thank you. I will ask the person liaisons, you may take Peabody out. Normal Manley Law School. one. Normal, we have one. But I don't have to ask Carol. Not a surprise. So I will ask the liaisons to likewise take the two wording of school team, sorry, the which team out of the room. The advocates, attorneys for team two, please go to the back of the room so that your team one, sorry, please go to the back of the room so that your microphones can be attached.
Will this roll clear, please?
Once this happens, I shall run from it. And then we come things. However, it is. Well, the coaches can stay, but if they stay, they can't go to the field afterwards. That's what I mean. So they can stay if they wish, but the team go to the teams. Yes. So like you wouldn't coach what's going on, and then go to you. But if it's paid, and that means it's paid until their team performs. But nothing. They're one. I'll give each one of them gets up.
Okay.
So can I have the reserve come up to assist in setting up your office? And this is where they have 5 minutes to set up their office. If you notice, you have clocks in the room, so you all have 5 minutes to set up their office.
Yes, it has to be. Okay.
Yes, I need some assistance, please.
With an appointment?
I didn't get a chance to call ahead of time, but I really need somebody to listen to what happened to me, sometime last year, sir.
We understand. Into the city, please. I'll see if anyone's available.
Yes.
Yes, please. 1 second. Council, there's Honorable Bradley here for you. Are you available?
Yes, please.
Sure thing. Bradley? Can you come please? Please have a seat.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Bradley. My name is Shanice Hall, and this is my colleague, Mally Bennett.
Good morning, Ms. Bradley.
Good morning, Mr. Bennett. Good morning, Mr. Hall. Ms. Bradley, we will be both conducting your interview today. How are you feeling?
I'm still a little bit shaken up, even though this happened some time ago, but I'm glad that you guys are taking the time out to listen to me.
Yes, we're here to help. So feel free to just relax. We're here to assist you.
Can we offer you some water?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Would you like a glass?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bradley. We understand that you're having a rough time today, but before we begin, we just want you to settle in a bit so that we can have the best interview possible, right? Right.
So we'll be having a 30-minute conversation today, and we ask that you share what you are hear about today with us, and that we'll give you some preliminary advice and instruct you on the next steps you could possibly take if you choose to retain us.
Right. Ms. Bradley, it seems like you are in a shaken up state. However, we wanted to express to us exactly what happened, knowing in mind that this conversation is protected by attorney-client privilege. This means that anything that you say to us, we cannot disclose it to anyone without your consent. And during the interview, we'll be taking notes. If you see us writing, don't become flustered. We want to ensure that we take the most accurate information possible so that we can give you the best advice.
That feels good.
Ms. Bradley, have you spoken to another attorney about this matter?
No, sir.
Right. Ms. Bradley, our secretary informed us that you have satisfied our consultation fee. Thank you.
So we'd just like to confirm some of your personal details. Could you give us a correct spelling of your name?
ANNAHOPE. Anna Hope, and my surname is Bradley. BRADWI.
That's a beautiful name.
Anna Hope. Well, hopefully, I will be justified.
Yes. All right. So can you confirm your contact? No.
Sure, 422-2832, area code 242. 422-2832, area code 242.
And do you have an email address?
Sure, Archon Hope at GlendoyleUniversity.com. Archon Hope at GlendoyleUniversity.com.
What's your affiliation with Glendoyle University?
I'm an associate professor of English literature.
Wow.
You can certainly hear it in the speech.
Yes, I actually love literature in school. in
Yeah.
high school. It was really fun.
I used to teach it on Fridays, and I still do at the university but prior to the university, I taught private high school. And I used to coin Fridays, lit Fridays. My students did enjoy that.
We can definitely tell.
Yes.
Ms. Bradley, what is your residential address?
2324 University Boulevard. Actually live not too far away from the university. It's practically within walking distance.
That's convenient.
Very.
Ms. Bradley, we were told that you had a very traumatic experience with police and something about your dignity. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Where do you want me to start?
All right, start from the very beginning. Where were you at that time?
Excuse me. So, around 6 a.m., September 24th, 2025, I was on my way to go and get some coffee from the coffee shop, which is not far from where I live, nor not far from the university. And it was cold, just to kind of give you an idea. So I was dressed in jeans, t-shirt, and I had on a designer green hoodie. That, gosh, I love green, as you can see. But after everything was fine on the walk there. But it was after I bought my coffee and I was on my way back home. I hadn't even left the coffee shop 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, just police sirens just came everywhere, stopped right in front of me. And I'm like, well, what's going on? You know, and the police, they're just yelling and shouting and pointing and directing at me, and I'm completely confused as to what is happening. Well, 2 policemen, they came out of the car, and one of them ended up hitting the coffee that I was holding, and I did, sustain slight burns on the back of my left hand, but it wasn't too serious. But they just kept shouting, you right there with the hood, you're going to jail. I mean, I couldn't even understand or comprehend what they were saying. So, okay, after that had happened, they're now making a spectacle. And like I say, I live near the university. So some of my neighbors and some of my students kind of saw all of this eruption, what was going on surrounding me, their teacher, their professor. And one of my students, actually went up to one of the policemen to inquire, what's happening? Why do you help Professor Bradley like this? And they said, she just finished robbing, or somebody just finished robbing the coffee shop, and and people like that who like to rob, all these women do is just rob so they can buy wigs and wear false nails. And I don't wear wigs. Everything about me is real. I'm not sure how that was even mistaken, but in any event, my student did point out to the officer, and again, this is happening in front of everybody. So I'm now starting to feel kind of embarrassed because I still don't know.
Right, and that is expected. Right, so Ms. Bradley, before we go any further, I would like us to backtrack a bit because we want to get all of the details step by step. So you said that you were on a walk to get coffee.
Yes.
So went in the shop, you got your coffee. After leaving, not even 5 minutes, police came up.
Yes.
Yes, and they slapped the coffee out of your hand and you sustained burns.
Correct.
So you're feeling
My
better.
left hand, the
Your
back
left
of my left hand.
All right, then what happened next?
So after that, they just were yelling and shouting at me and pretty much accusing me in that moment and instance that I was the culprit. I was the person that robbed the coffee shop that I literally just came from paying for my coffee. So if this robbery happened, I mean, shouldn't I have also seen a robbery? But I guess they said that it was a woman in a hood,
And you were wearing a hood.
and I was wearing a hood.
What's the name of the coffee shop?
Just University Boulevard Coffee Shop. I mean, it's a university coffee shop located not too far away, so within the dormitories range of the students. So it's
University
university coffee shop.
coffee shop.
University coffee shop.
And how are you feeling this morning, Ms. Bradley?
I mean, I'm still shaken up, I think, as obvious, but at least I'm finally able to speak with somebody about my ordeal.
And we're happy that you made that decision.
So tell us of your encounter with the police. After they accused you of robbing the shop, what happened?
So like I was explaining, my student did inquire because they were just there, everybody there was a lot of people around watching. And the police, said the person with the hoodie, with a red hoodie, that's it. They told my student that a woman had just finished robbing the store that had on a red hoodie.
But you had on a green hoodie.
Correct.
Okay.
And what's the name of the student?
Oh Lord, I have so many students. Kyle Shaw. Kyle Shaw. Kyle Shaw, yeah.
And do you believe Mr. Shaw would be able to come and give evidence as relates to
Yes,
this encounter?
yes, absolutely.
Okay, you said that a lot of people were there. Do you have an approximate amount?
I would say maybe between 7, 11, because I would have been walking within the vicinity of my neighbors, my home. Students around that time would have probably been leaving the library and getting ready for class. So yeah, maybe around that time.
And did anyone record the incident?
Cameras were everywhere.
Cameras were everywhere.
Cameras were everywhere.
Where were these cameras?
I mean, all the spectators.
All the spectators held up their cameras and were videoing the incident.
Correct.
How did that make you feel?
Embarrassed
That's just using
and violated.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I may look young, but I'm still an adult, right? And all of the adults that had their cameras going around the corner, it had to be a child, a student, to come and actually come to my defense. That hurt.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Ms. Bradley. I can't begin to imagine how you have felt in that moment. Tell us a bit more about the police officers. Were they in uniform?
They were. So it was 2 male police officers. Don't ask me whatever badge numbers or whatever.
Did they get their names?
No,
So they at no point identified themselves.
not at all. They didn't even talk to me. Really, they was just yelling at me. They told me that, when my student said, look, but she has on a green hoodie, not a red hoodie, and when I heard what the police told my student, I then tried to speak up because I wasn't asked any questions. I was just accused, and I said, look, how could I have robbed the shop? Because the police told my student about an hour ago somebody robbed the shop. I was at the library getting ready for my classes, and then I went to go and get my coffee, and furthermore, well, I couldn't even finish furthermore because the police just shut me down and say, shut up. And you're gonna have to just tell them that at the stations, right? So.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you were at the library in between the time that they said that the incident occurred.
Correct.
Did anyone see you at the library?
Yeah, just the librarian who really doesn't pay much attention because with me being an associate professor, I have my card, and it was like maybe 5:15, 5:30 in the morning, so there wouldn't have been that many people there.
With your card that you have the access to the library, that would have a timestamp.
Correct.
Okay.
I have my card, yes.
And we'll be able to get that information?
Yes.
If we were to act on your behalf, that type of information is something that would definitely need to prove your whereabouts at that time.
Sure. Right. So we're going back to the incident. So they made the accusations. Your student, Kyle Shaw, tried to defend you. And what was their response to it?
I mean, they pretty much just dismissed it. Their response to my student pointing out the fact that I had on a green hoodie as opposed to this female robber that had on a red. And, all the police response was kind of flippant, all these girls want to do, like I said earlier, is rob these stores to buy fake hair, get their nails painted, tinsy, I guess, right? But, yeah, so after that, then they hauled me into the police car. And this whole ordeal, I imagined, it felt like it was a lifetime, but I did still have my cell phone and my belongings and everything on me. They didn't confiscate anything at that point, that they put me in the police vehicle. So it was maybe around 6:30, because when they pulled up to me, it was shortly after 6, so maybe 30 minutes later. And we got to Central Police Station, and when I got there, the police did not say anything to me. They told me, other than commanding me, get out the car, have a seat right there. And this room felt like a jail cell without the actual cell. There were no windows, it
Was the
was.
door locked behind you?
Yeah, when the policemen put me in there, they left me in there alone for about an hour. The same 2 male police officers that, picked me up, arrested me, so to speak. But like I was trying to say, they didn't speak to me. They didn't tell me that I was under arrest. They didn't ask me anything. I mean,
Sounds like a lot, and it's quite unfortunate that you're meeting with us under these circumstances. Hold on, Ms. Bradley, you said that you were locked in the room. How long were you locked? You said hours.
at least an hour, because this other male policeman now came inside the room, not a part of the 2 that arrested me. So this is now a 3rd male policeman who comes inside the room, doesn't say anything. And he sits to the table and just throws his pad on the table and says, "Now it's time for you to confess."
Did he identify himself?
No.
Did he have a badge on?
What?
And what did he say after that?
It's not what he said, it's what I said.
And what did you say?
So my frustration level had reached to a peak at its ceiling. So I stood up. I stood up and I said, I did not do anything. Can I please have a call to call my lawyer?
Were you given that call?
No. In fact, the policeman said to me, your lawyer could help you.
And why is that?
Well, pray tell, maybe y'all could tell me. I have no idea. So when the policeman said that, you see what I look like, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I did go a little bit up into the man's face.
What do you mean?
I went up to him and I said, you have to have the wrong person, and I have on a green hoodie. The person that supposedly robbed the coffee shop have on a red hoodie. Well, I guess that was too much mouth and I was being too assertive because the police punched me in my stomach.
I'm so sorry to hear that happened to you, Miss Bradley.
A male police officer.
And how are you feeling? Is your stomach okay?
Really?
How are you feeling?
I mean, really, you want to ask that, I mean, this happened not even 6 months ago, and I can't laugh or cry or exercise without experiencing pain.
Have you gone to see a doctor?
Oh, you don't talk about doctor, let's talk about the bills. And on top of that, aside from the emergency room, which ended up costing me $48,000 for my visit. I'm an associate professor. Associate. Well, actually, I think insurance is a scam, but anyway, yeah, they ran a lot of tests because after the police punched me in my stomach, they get up and walk out the room and then close the door behind them. I still in the room by myself. I ain't getting no help. So I keeled over and I started coughing up blood.
I cannot begin to imagine what this experience has been like for you, Miss Bradley. That sounds awful.
It sounds like a very traumatic experience. And did anyone come to assist you afterwards?
Nope, they left me in there.
So what happened next?
So after I was silenced and the door was closed, Like I said, I felt like I was in a jail cell without the actual cell bars. There were no windows, no ventilation. And I perched myself up in the corner. And the only kind of comfort that I was able to seek, there was a little small slit in the ceiling that I was able to get some kind of breeze.
When exactly were you able to go to the doctor?
Not until my confidant, Pastor James Whitlock, came to get me from the jail because I wasn't offered any kind of medical assistance. And like I said, I coughed up blood after that male police officer punched me in the stomach. I've never been, I think my parents used to spike me, sure, when I was younger, but I don't know what violence feels like. I don't know what it feels like for another human being's hand to be on me.
So it sounds like an awful experience, Miss Mary, and we can't begin to imagine. And we know that you want to share all that has happened, but just allow us to ask some pointed questions so you can get some more details, okay? So after you were punched by the police officer and was not getting any help, what's then happened leading up to your release?
Well, they left me in the room, what seems like it was overnight, because it went from being daytime to nighttime. And the next morning, ran out the next morning. I didn't sleep, by the way, but like I said, they didn't confiscate anything. So I still had everything on me, so I was able to monitor the time, the duration, and all of that.
And what was that duration?
It was about 12 hours. Because when a female, it's the first time I've seen a female police officer now. I'm a female, I thought. And and I'm not well learned, I'm not well versed when it comes to the law. But when it comes to my rights, I could have sworn that if a female is being arrested for any reason, before even getting to the station, shouldn't there be some female officer there?
Yes.
But anyway, aside from that,
Yes.
let me just quickly get this to you. So the female police officer opens the door and she says that I'm free to go. That Pastor James Whitlock was here for me. She didn't ask me how I was feeling. She didn't even express compassion or empathy for the condition of how I looked. So once and I didn't have to sign anything. I didn't sign anything. I didn't come at I don't even understand what went down.
You were given no reason as to why you were free?
None. So Pastor Whitlock says to me that this incident that happened with me was now all over social media. And in addition to that, the actual camera footage of the robbery of the woman robbing the coffee shop was also on social media going viral. And that woman looked nothing like me. You know what my pastor told me? Said that woman was short, fat, and we now know wearing a red hoodie. I know I'm a little short, but I don't think anything about me looks fat. So then Pastor Whitlock took me to the emergency room.
And that's where you saw the doctor.
That's why I saw the doctors and, they ran loads of tests, prescribed lots of medication, totaling, like I alluded to earlier, correct, 48,000, but that's not even it.
For the Miss Bradley. Where exactly did you go to seek medical treatment? The name of the hospital?
Oh, the university hospital? Yeah.
And what tests did they do?
They did an abdominal CT, they did an X-ray, of course, whatever different panels of blood tests that need be. I had a few ribs fractured.
Sounds very awful, Miss Bradley.
Did you get surgery for the fractured ribs?
No, but I did have to have extensive physical therapy and I was on bed rest.
Right. For the extensive physical therapy, where did you go? Still
Everything, thank God, that I'm a associate professor at the university. Like I said earlier, I think insurance is a scam, but in this case, it assisted me because I was able to be fully serviced by the university medical staff at the university hospital. Glenroy
From
University.
your insurance, do you have to spend anything out of pocket?
Yes,
What was that?
yes, okay, so if my hospital bill, golly, I need these numbers. I'm English, I told you I'm English, right? Yeah, $48,000 was the bill, but the insurance covered about a quarter of that. So I still had to end up paying, let's say, maybe 28 to 32 grand, but that's not even the end of it. I was also, I mean, as you see how I walked in, I experienced PTSD. So I was also referred to a psychiatrist.
Okay, and the insurance cover that?
No,
How much was it?
it's $500 a visit.
And how many times did you visit?
I've been to 8 so far. That's $4,000, by the way.
Thank you for that.
You know, us attorneys are not always good with numbers, we appreciate it.
Thank you for that.
Because I had to keep going over the math because I can't imagine how this ordeal has ended up costing me.
Understand how, we cannot begin to understand how distressing.
When I still don't even know what I did.
Ms. Betty, how's the psychiatrist sessions? How are they going?
I am now back in the classroom teaching. I'm now here to talk to you. So far, I think I'm making small progress to reacclimatize my life again without feeling the stain of my reputation being sullied.
So that you were back in the classroom, you were out for how long?
About 6 months.
6 months.
And you were not being paid for the 6 months? And how much do you usually get paid?
Oh, really want me to disclose my salary? I don't really make much, it's meager. I make
No.
about
It's for your best
45,000 a year.
interest, Ms. Betty.
I make about 45,000 a year. So I've already spent my salary on my medical costs.
Have you sustained any other losses that you'd like to share?
Fortunately, I reside on the university's campus. So home and university to me is synonymous, so at least I am not paying rent and utilities. Because if I was, I would be out on the road.
We're happy that's not the case, Mr. Bradley, and we hope we can assist you as this interview progresses.
I don't know if you got this, but I want to go back to the psychiatry sessions. What did the therapist say? Were you diagnosed with it?
I'm still going to the sessions. Aside from general post-traumatic, PTSD.
And we were told by a doctor, do you have suffering from this? Which doctor?
Dr. Johnson?
That's the psychiatrist?
I told you, just to see Dr. Johnson for an hour once a week is $500, right?
Yes.
Yes, you did.
And what's the problem with medication that you take?
Can't remember, when it comes to those different types of medications, I hardly can pronounce them, and I'm good in English, but it's a bevy. It's about 4 or 5 different types of medication that I have to get refilled once a month.
And how much is that costing?
I pay about $300.
It's very expensive, Ms. Bradley.
Should you retain us in the end, or we will need all of this information
Oh, I've got
to
receipts.
ground your claim?
I've got receipts.
So don't worry if you believe you weren't giving us the exact amount, no, because we can recheck it later, just to make sure that we have the accurate information, alright? With that being said, Ms. Bradley, do you have any questions for us, or anything that you would like to add?
obviously I'm here because I want to sue the police department and the police officers for arresting me without cause. But you know, it ain't just about the money. Because I know police officers don't have no kind of money. You know, it's about me being violated, it's about the principle of it, and it's about me losing my dignity. Do you know that, you know, and people are jealous, you never even know why people are jealous, but while I was, you know, experiencing this ordeal, the same people that had their cameras, some of them were my neighbors, and they decided to put in their WhatsApp group whatever they said, but it was defaming, right? And again, my students, oh thank God for my students. Some of my students are in that exact WhatsApp group, and they were actually trying to defend my character. Like my character needed to be defended. Like, how did I even get in this position? But aside from that, my students, if y'all can't help me, and I'm just putting this out there, you know, you can stop me if need be. But my students, they have all the camera footage of the police and what they did to me. And you know what they said to me? They could use AI to create certain scenarios and videos to make the police look like they're committing crimes. Now, I'm not saying that that's what I'm advising them to do. But if I can't get any kind of justice, then maybe that's an attractive option.
Ms. Bradley, I'll just have to stop you there. We cannot appreciate the extent that you have suffered since this encounter. And we know that you're frustrated and you've been pushed to your limit in a sense. But we cannot encourage or advise you or even allow you to follow through with this belief that it would be appropriate for you to even involve your students in certain encounter like this. You've gone through enough already, and we would like to help you. And in order for us to help you, we have to advise against you anything that would be illegal or defaming to the police or to yourself. And for, as you said, you're a teacher, you're a professor, and you want the best for your students. Is that correct?
That is true.
And certainly.
But that would be an attractive option though. So they would know how it would feel. They don't know what they did to me.
And though you might think it's an attractive option, Ms. Hall and I are advocates of the court, and as such, we cannot have clients or encourage our clients to do anything that would be in breach of the canons that we are bound by as attorneys.
I respect
Okay, so should you wish to proceed, we will do this the legal way. Because
that.
at Evans and Associates, we always put our best foot forward for our clients, especially when we realize that their rights have been violated. So just work with us and we will see you through.
You also have to speak to the officer in charge. Don't forget, that's all right, I didn't even mention that, you know, it was such a traumatic ordeal. I'm still trying to piece everything. But when Pastor Whitlock came to get me and he told me that everything was on social media, what I forgot to tell y'all was he also told me that he spoke with the officer in charge. And the officer in charge told him that I should have never been arrested. I shouldn't have even spent the night there because it was the wrong identity and they caught the person. So me having to spend the night in there, he wasn't even aware. So it must have just been an oversight.
Exactly, that, and we'll give you some advice as it relates to how we can go about remediating that situation, okay?
Just that we'll be going over the information that we have collected thus far, and if at any point you recognize that we have made a mistake, feel free to interject and we will make a correction.
Okay.
Right, so it was 6 a.m. on September 24, you were walking to get coffee at the university coffee shop. You went in the shop, you got your coffee. After leaving, no less than 5 minutes, the police officers came and they accused you. They accused you of robbing that same coffee shop and you denied those allegations. They slapped the coffee out of your hand. They pulled you into the vehicle. Your student was also there, and he was saying that the officers said that the individual who robbed the coffee shop had on a red sweater, but in fact you were wearing a green sweater. So you were very confused and humiliated in the circumstances.
Hold on. That sweater cost me $18,000.
Right.
That was a limited edition. It was signed by the artist in Florence, Italy. So more than just the
All right,
hospital
Ms.
bill.
Dade, remember.
And the police took it from me and never gave it back. Sorry, go
So
on.
they took the sweater from you. How much did that sweater cost? Thank you for.
18,000. It's a limited edition.
When did they take the sweater?
Right before they throw me in the room and punch me in the stomach.
Okay, right. So you were then driven to the police station and you were placed in a room for about an hour.
Correct.
You were left there, no one communicated anything to you
Correct.
until a female police officer came in. Well, a male officer came in first, right?
The male officer came in with the notepad and just slam it on the table and tell me, just confess.
Just confess. And then you denied the accusations and then you went ahead and punched you in the stomach.
Before he punched me though, he told me, no lawyer could help you, you
No
going
lawyer
straight to
could
jail,
help
to jail.
Yes.
And denied my phone call request.
And denied your phone call request. That is also important. And then you were there the entire night for about 12 hours until a female officer came in and said that you were free to go.
Correct.
Right. And she did not explain anything to you as to why you were free to go.
No.
It was your pastor who later told you why you were free to go.
Yes.
As a result of the incident, you have suffered from anxiety. You can't sleep, you're very jittery. You had to go to the hospital and get medication.
I'm still going to the hospital because I'm seeing the psychiatrist.
Yes,
I still have to get my medication filled.
Right. And you got tests and medication, and since then you had to take a break from school, but now you're back in the classroom, which we're happy to know that you're recovering.
Thank you.
Have you covered everything?
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Bradley, based on what you shared with us today, it seems that the circumstances has got raised certain elements in the law that we have to address. So
You said it has not or has?
it has raised certain circumstances in the law that we have to address. So you.
So we could sue them?
It may be possible to sue them, yes. So I'll just outline the circumstances about how we go about doing that and the areas that we would rely on. So you stated that you were stopped by the police officers and not told why you were stopped.
Yes.
And police officers are supposed to follow a certain procedure when they are instituting an arrest or detention of a person and inform them of their rights as well. And based on what you showed, that did not happen. Also, the way in which the police officers had interacted with you would have caused a certain aggravated element to the instance. Before I get into the aggravated elements of it, you would have lost certain financial losses as a result of the entire ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
You had to go spend out of pocket for medication,
Mm-hmm.
and you were unable to work as well.
I still had to pay for 3/4 of the hospital bills. Insurance only covered like a quarter of it, and that's the copay.
Precisely. And you were unable to work as well. And your reputation and your status on a whole has also been damaged.
Mm-hmm.
So we get into the circumstances that aggravated this. You were
And you know what
shouted
you put
at.
out on the internet, you can't get back.
Exactly. And you were shouted at, and you were recorded, and persons were spectating the entire ordeal.
Yes.
And this would have also caused you some emotional harm as well, being embarrassed and humiliated and afraid, as you stated before.
Absolutely.
Those would be the aggravated circumstances, and would have to make those clear to the court in order for you to receive compensation for those instances.
Yes. And relating to the medical bills, everything that you would have had to pay for out of pocket, how we ground this claim for compensatory damages is that we will need all of those evidence.
Understood.
So should you retain us, we will set a meeting where you will bring in those documents.
Okay.
Right.
Certainly, this was also carried out by state officers, and as officers of the state using state power, they're supposed to follow the correct procedure. And the fact that this was not done also gives us grounds to ask the court for exemplary damages so that these officers may be punished and that these instances of actions do not happen again.
So the actions that we have beforehand, we call them cause of action.
Cause of action?
Cause of action. So it's what we will ground our claim. So one, we have false imprisonment.
Yes.
Yes. So you were locked in, right? So you see every instance where you were locked in a space, the vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
the instance where you were detained, told not to
I mean,
move.
thank God I'm not claustrophobic.
Yes. And the instance where you were locked in the room for the entire night, that is false imprisonment. And therefore, we can seek to recover for those losses. Yes.
Okay.
Certainly.
Like you could put a dollar, like a number to that?
The court,
A figure,
based on
a dollar figure?
precedent, the court based on precedent will take into consideration the likelihood of you to receive those damages
Okay.
given the circumstances and what we base the instance of the overall circumstance on what happened to you and how it made you feel, your reputation and dignity, the humiliation that you went through, all of that will be taken into consideration.
Right, so we have covered the exemplary, and we spoke about the aggravating,
Yes.
and then we spoke about the compensatory.
Okay.
Right,
And
So, as well, there are certain elements in this where your constitutional rights overlap with these torts that were done against you. And by torts, I mean the wrongs that the police officer will carry out. So, where the court is not satisfied that the compensation covers or vindicates the rights that were breached, it is possible that they grant what we call vindicatory damages. And the circumstances are so gross and awful and bad. And you would see where it's not possible that the monetary figure would cover or satisfy vindicating those rights, then vindicatory damages could be awarded as well. But this is, of course, discretionary for the court to decide.
right, but it doesn't hurt for us to put forward that yes, your right to liberty has been breached.
And certainly, we could also ask for apology on your behalf.
a public apology.
Public apology on the same scale on which you're.
So those same people that were spreading rumors and writing bad things about me in the WhatsApp group could see that they were even wrong.
Certainly. And it would have to be done on the same scale to remedy the situation as
And
well.
that is something that we'll also put forward.
And though it's not guaranteed, we will make an attempt at it as well. So, having heard this, do you wish to retain us?
I think I'm right. Seems like you've handled my irate and frustrated nature very calmly. That's not necessarily the easiest for many.
Right,
We
Ms.
come to the
Riley.
job, so we have to learn.
Okay, so the next steps that are available to you, two options. We will write to the Attorney General and we will propose mediation or negotiation. We will give them about 14 to 21 days to respond. In this letter, we just outline what we're claiming, the damages that we just spoke about. Should they not respond, and then we'll have to go directly to court. However, we propose the first option as it is more cost effective and less time consuming, okay?
Time.
I just excuse myself now.
Okay.
All right, well, please. Welcome. How can I help?
I need to speak with somebody about an ordeal that I experienced a few months ago.
The appointment?
No, didn't get a chance to make one.
What's your name?
Anna Hope Bradley.
Please. Counsel, there's an Anna Hope Bradley here to see you. Let her in. Bradley? Let's see you. Right this way.
James Bradley, welcome to Arma. My name is Gemma Roach. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Gemma Roach. Roach, nice to meet you.
Yes.
Good evening, my name is Roberts. Thank you so much for coming to me. Please,
Okay.
proceed. Ms. Donnelly, what I've understood from your correspondence to us, that you would have had an encounter with the police, very traumatic experience. We want you to know that this is a safe space, okay? We are here to listen, and we're here to support you to the best of our ability.
Ms. Bradley, we so far refer to you as Ms. Bradley. Do you prefer Miss or Mrs. Bradley?
Mrs. Fine.
With that being said, Ms. Bradley, how are you?
She's still shaking a little bit.
May I offer you some tissue or a bottle of water?
Water would be fine, thanks. Do you have a glass or no?
Do you want a straw? Mr. Straw?
Yes, straw would be nice. Thank you. Perfect.
And Ms. Bradley, the purpose of this meeting today, as we said, we're here to listen. So the purpose of this meeting is to gather further information about Mr. Yamada. So throughout the meeting, we will be asking questions. Now, these questions, they are personal, however, they're not in any way intended to make you feel uncomfortable. Okay? But throughout the meeting, Ms. Rose and I will be taking notes. And these notes are just to ensure that we accurately document everything that transpires through the meeting.
So Ms. Bradley, again, today's meeting is for 30 minutes. You have already paid the consultation fee, and so we thank you for that. You know that there are 2 attorneys here. Purpose for that, so that in the event that either of us is unavailable, at least one of us should be able to assist you as best as possible. Also, one very important matter that we must mention, everything that is discussed here is completely confidential. In law, it's known as the attorney-client privilege. And all that means is that nothing that we say or discuss will be disclosed unless you disclose it, or you give us permission to disclose it, or we're compelled to do so by court order. Also, all of our staff members are contractually obligated to be confidential.
That's reassuring.
So before we go on through the meeting, we just want to get some more preliminary information reference to your client profile form. So the email you sent us, that's the email we can contact you regularly.
Yes, Arch on Hope at GlendoyleUniversity.com.
Okay, and the phone number name on the email is also accurate, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Can you provide us with a telephone contact, please?
422-2333. 422-2333 is the preferred contact number.
Okay, thank you so much. And your date of birth, please?
Don't you know that after a woman reaches a certain age, do I have to disclose that?
It's just standard procedure
March
for-
18th, 1979.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Ms. Bradley, thank you for providing that information for us. So now you can feel free to tell us what brings you in today.
You want me to start from the beginning?
Tell us about your yes, ma'am.
Well, first off, I am an associate professor at the University of Glendoyle, and my traumatic ordeal revolves around being near the university. But okay, so I guess around 6 a.m. September 24th, 2025, I was on my way to go and get some coffee. And the coffee shop is like a university coffee shop, and I live near the university practically and the coffee shop. So it wasn't really a long distance for me to walk. It was pretty cold outside. We were experiencing, I guess, a cold front. So I had on some jeans.
On your way to get some coffee, did anything happen? Were you approached by anyone?
Right, so I'm trying to get there.
Okay.
Okay, so I had on jeans, t-shirt, and a designer green hoodie. Now, I gotta really point out the hoodie. The hoodie that I wore was $18,000, just to put it out there. It was a limited edition, and it was signed by an artist from Florence, Italy. But that's sidebar, I guess, for now. Okay, so I bought my coffee, and I'm now on my way back home. I wasn't even walking 5 minutes, and all of a sudden I heard, and then they just
So those were signs of the police from the police?
from the police.
Okay.
And the police, they just, stopped right in front of me, right? And I mean, I don't know what's going on, right? I'm on my own way. And the police said, no, 2 policemen came out of the vehicle, right? And they're just shouting and yelling at me.
Are you able to remember their names?
No,
Describe how they looked at all.
I mean, they're black.
Okay.
but I don't remember any special feature characteristic or even their badge number. I mean, all of this took me by surprise.
Understood. No problem.
So, yeah, so two police officers, they come out of their police car and they're just yelling and shouting at me. I mean, I don't even know what they're saying. It's indiscernible to me. And one of the police officers hits my hand that I was holding the hot coffee that I just paid for. And it ended up burning the back of my left hand just a little bit. But again, I don't even know what's going on. All I'm hearing is some woman robbed the coffee shop. And so I'm like, and apparently this woman had on a hood. But nothing is really connecting to me because, and she had on a hood. I literally just paid for, I don't even know what's going on.
Right.
People are now gathered around, right? They're making a big spectacle. And where I live, my neighbors, they're kind of nosy and they're not necessarily the nicest people. But everyone had their cameras out and started recording what was going on.
Can you say everyone just a spectator or the police included?
No, the spectators. There was only two policemen. Yeah. At that point.
Okay. Tell us more. What else happened, Ms. Bradley?
So, okay, now, like I say, people are viewing this, they're recording this. But one of my students, Kyle Shaw, one of my students, he happened to be there. And so he, instead of the adults asking if I need any help, my student had to go to the police while the adults were too busy making fun of me and recording. But my student went to the police and, asked the police what was going on.
Right.
So the police tell him, say, this woman in a red hood robbed the coffee shop. So my student I am still wearing the green hood. I'm still presently wearing the green hood. But the police tells my student somebody in a red hood. So then the police just goes on and I'm like, but my student tells the police, but officers, you could see that she's wearing a green hood. You know what the police could say? I mean, they pretty much dismissed it, but the police says, well, that's how quick these girls has changed. They's only robbed these stores, and these coffee shops to buy wigs and to get their fingernails painted. And I mean, I don't wear wigs. I mean, nothing about me is superficial. Everything about me is natural.
Yes.
So, I couldn't even understand. I couldn't even understand. So then after all of that, you want me to continue?
Yes.
Okay. So then after all of that now, my students trying to plead with the police officers and they're not even really hearing anything. And when I hear what the police officers are saying, and they say somebody robbed the coffee shop about an hour ago. Now, like I said, this was must be around 6 a.m. when I went to buy the coffee. An hour before that, I was at the library. Everything is pretty much centered on the university campus. And I have a 7 a.m. class. Oh, I dread that class. But I was preparing in the library around the time that they're accusing me of robbing the coffee shop, the same coffee shop that I paid for my coffee.
Ms. Bradley, question. Does this coffee shop and the library, do they have CCTV or cameras around?
Well, that's a good question.
Because it would assist in verifying where you
I
are.
mean, you might have to do your own due
Yes,
diligence
no
on
problem.
that. I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to,
No problem.
yeah, I go in with my swipe card, I say good morning to the librarian, and I go about my way.
So, Ms. Bradley, just another question. Were you placed in handcuffs?
No, and here's the thing, they threw me, well, when I say throw, I may be a little bit hyperbolic with that, but they put me in the police car, right? And they didn't handcuff me, they didn't seize any of my possessions, but they also didn't talk to me,
So they just put you in the police car and couldn't say anything.
literally in front of everybody. And I still don't know what's going on.
They didn't tell you the reason why they placed you in the police car?
When we finally got to Central Police Station, now, like I said, they didn't seize or confiscate anything. So I still had my cell phone, my belongings, and I was able to kind of keep track of time, the duration, or whatever, what was going on. And so, you know, about 30 minutes later, we now arrive at Central Police Station. And again, nobody said anything. They didn't say why I was under arrest. They didn't explain why they arrested me. They just put me in a room by myself. And now this room, I felt like I was in jail. I mean, without the actual cell, no windows, no ventilation, just a square box. Well, they kept me in there. I mean, it felt like hours on end, but I think it was about an hour. And then this male officer, not one of the two that originally picked me up or whatever, but this male officer comes in and he throws his notepad on the table and says that it's now time for me to confess. Confess? So I look at this police officer and I said, confess for what? I didn't do anything. Can I please make a phone call to call my lawyer? They denied that request. I didn't ask for a family member, but they denied anything that came out of my mouth. And they said, no lawyer is going to help you. Now, at this point, let me just paint the picture. Look at me. Nothing about me looks like I could fight anybody, much less take on a man. But my rights are being violated. So I stand up and protest. And I get a little bit in his face, you know, and I said, I did not do anything. Can I please have a phone call to call my lawyer? The police punched me in response.
Where did he punch you in the spine?
In my stomach. In my stomach, and at such point, naturally, I keeled over and I'm coughing up blood. Think they cared? Nope.
Did they seek any medical attention for you?
None. He left the room and closed the door and left me in there. You know, and that room was cold, you know, and I just kind of perched myself up on the wall. You know, in the corner, there was, you look in the ceiling, there was this little slit that provided some kind of ventilation. So I just stayed up underneath there. I didn't sleep. Y'all.
I'm sorry, how much longer did you spend in the room after the police officer would have left?
So I still had all of my belongings, and so I was, you know, looking at the time, I would say about 12 hours. Because the next morning, we going on now 6 a.m. the next morning. And what happened to me happened shortly after 6 a.m. when I was getting coffee. A female officer comes in, and let me just stick a pin in there with that part, because, you know, I'm not the best well-versed and learned when it comes to law, but if I even if that's just watching TV, but if you're being arrested or pulled over by male officers and you're a female, shouldn't there be a female there to assist? Well, I mean, so I thought, but anyway.
Ordinarily, female officers are there to assist them in, but it's necessary where it is that there's a search of the person. And that would be, the criminal procedure code provides that legislation as relates to that, section 16.
Okay. Well, no, I don't remember that, but
No problem.
the search didn't really happen. More or less, my green hoodie definitely was stolen off of me. That was the only thing the police took. Did I mention earlier?
$18,000.
Thank you. So, yeah, put that in there, right? But when the female police officer came in to tell me that I was now free to go, thank God, my Pastor James Whitlock, he was the one that came and to receive me.
Do you have a telephone number for Pastor Whitlock?
324 4282. 324-4282, right? So when she finally released me and I was kind of, delighted to see that it was a female police officer. She didn't skin no teeth though. She didn't smile, she didn't show compassion. She was very robotic, she didn't even ask if I was okay. She didn't apologize for the errors of her colleagues arresting me for no reason because Pastor Whitlock said that he spoke with the officer in charge.
Okay.
And the officer in charge said that I should have never been arrested because there is no reason for the arrest. I should have not even spent the night in jail because they caught the person. What do you mean they caught the person? So Pastor Whitlock tells me that my incident is all over social media. In addition to that, the camera footage of the actual woman robbing the coffee shop is all on social media. And you want to know what this woman supposedly look like? Short and fat. I'm sorry, I know I'm short, but nothing about me says fat.
We agree with that.
And she had on a red hoodie.
Absolutely.
I mean, green, that's the green that I'm wearing right now. That's kind of bright.
Yes.
And finally, once you were released, what happened next?
Well, of course, I'm still in pain.
Did
Don't
you go to
forget.
see a doctor?
Yes, Pastor Whitlock did take me to the emergency room and they ran
Which
a
is
plethora of tests at the university hospital.
Okay.
So Glendale University Hospital. Like I said, everything is pretty much centered around Glendale University. I pretty much reside on the campus,
Right.
So
yeah.
did the university cover your medical expenses?
They did, even though, to a certain extent, I do feel as if insurance is a scam, but yeah, to, a third of my total hospital bill, which was $48,000. So if the insurance paid, let's say a third of that, I may be paid between 37 and 42 still out of pocket. And that's a guesstimate, right?
How's his stomach now, Ms. Bradley?
If I laugh, if I cry,
It's painful.
I had a few fractured ribs. I am still taking prescribed medication and still doing physical therapy. And in addition to that, the doctor also referred me to see a psychiatrist.
Have you gone to see the psychiatrist?
I've been going for 8 weeks now.
Okay, has it been helpful?
Yes, I'm back in the classroom.
Well, that's awesome. Ms. Bradley, did you have to pay for your medication and your therapy visit as well?
Sure do.
Okay.
Not did, presently still do.
Okay.
You know how much each visit to the psychiatrist costs?
It's about taxing.
$500. I've been to 8. That's $4,000 already out of my pocket.
Yes, ma'am.
And what about the medication? How much did the medication cost you?
God, I have to refill it monthly.
Okay,
So I pay, I guess, close to about $300 or so.
come on.
Yeah.
And this would have happened 6 months ago.
Oh, 6
roughly.
months, yeah, oh, 6
So
months.
far you paid about $1,800.
Wow, y'all better with numbers than me.
Do you have any receipts or invoices?
I do, I mean, not on me,
Okay,
I have a file.
you okay?
You can either drop them off to the office, you decide to return us, or send us an email, okay?
Sure.
Ms. Bradley, anything else that you'd like us to know?
Yeah, I want to sue the police department. That's the most important thing. That's the most pertinent information of all. They violated me. They embarrassed me. I mean, I want to sue the department. I want to sue the officers that arrested me because they arrested me without any cause.
Yes, ma'am.
But you know what's also interesting? I mean, we are where we are. And the police department, you know, they ain't got, I guess the police officers probably don't have a lot of money. It ain't about the money, but my students, they have camera footage of these two police officers. And you know what they said to me? They said, Professor Bradley, if you don't get justice, then we could always use AI. Y'all can stop me whenever y'all want. We could always use AI to create criminal acts of these police officers.
Karen Arnold, we strongly discourage any acts that would be unethical. As your mother is one of great sensitivity and gravity, we do not want anything to infringe or be negative towards your mother, okay?
So while
I mean, that's an attractive option though.
no, we do understand.
Because I gotta know what it feels like for what they did to
Absolutely.
me.
And you have every right to feel a bit.
Exactly, we understand your passion in this matter. However, we don't want anything that you do that may jeopardize the quality of your evidence, that may not stand the test of satisfactory means of being obtained in a court of law. You've already taken very
I
pragmatic.
respect that.
Yeah, you've already taken very pragmatic steps by coming in to see an attorney. And so allow us to do what you've asked us to do, which is to give you legal advice. You can seek resolution within the confines of the law.
So I do have a case.
You absolutely do have a case, in our opinion, based on the facts that you would have given us. Ms. Roberts, do you have any thoughts at this time?
Well, Ms. Bradley, based on what you have shared with us, we see that there are some issues that may arise as it relates to your constitutional rights. So as it relates to the unlawful arrest and unlawful detention, as well as there are some rights under private law as it relates to the assault and battery with the police inflicting force against you,
Okay.
as well as the extended time that you would have had in the prison, in the room. That will
No, you said the
cause-
right word the first time.
But it would
Was a
cause-
person,
Yeah.
figuratively and literally.
Yes, Ms. Bradley, it is called false imprisonment, okay? So we're gonna further explore these with you.
All calls are recorded for
So
quality and training
Ms. Roberts would have already spoken about the constitutional violation. So under Article 16 of the Constitution, which, I mean, you seem to be very familiar already, because you already made some intimations about reasonable suspicion. It appears, based on what you said, there may be a violation of Article 16, which talks about a person's protection against torture or inhuman or degrading treatment.
It was
or punishment.
inhumane.
Absolutely, and that
Yes.
Article 16 actually seeks to protect a person, 17, sorry, seeks to protect the person.
Article 17.
Yes, ma'am. It seeks to protect a person from the inhumane treatment done by the state, as also to protect their dignity. It also appears that there may be some violations of
Sorry,
Article
There's
19.
no one available to take your call
Specifically,
at the
Article
moment.
19 speaks
You are
about
being held
protection
in a
against
queue and we
arbitrary
will answer
arrest
your
and
call as soon
detention.
as possible.
Totally arbitrary.
Yes, ma'am. So all that means is that a person's liberty cannot be deprived of them unless, for instance, as it appears in your case, the police may have had some reasonable suspicion or they thought they did. And I'll get to that in a moment. That you.
I'm about to say reasonable suspicion.
Right.
What's
Hi, good day.
reasonable
Is this
about
the
green and
University
red?
of
And
Kiel?
it's not. So this is actually
Kiel University?
how the police ought to
Yeah, this is
conduct
Clive
their
Guy
arrests.
calling.
They
I
must
am a
have
student who has
reasonable
applied
suspicion in order to
for
lawfully
readmission,
deprive you
and I realized I
your
missed a call from
Right,
this
so
number, and that's why I'm calling
let's say
back
that
to
was
check
the
to see
case. The police are
how
still
I may
supposed
help
to carry
and
out certain
what is the
procedures
status of that
in effecting
application.
the lawful arrest, which we know in this case,
Yeah,
it
we're
doesn't
doing my
appear to be
colleague.
at all. The police were supposed to have given you a reason why you were arrested, like you
Yes.
said, in understandable language.
Yeah, well,
without delay.
I spoke to one of your
They were
colleagues,
also
I think his
supposed
name is
to
Guy, who I
inform you
spoke
of your
to.
right to retain
And
your private
the
counsel
indication
with your
was
legal
that,
representative, again, without delay. And most certainly, they ought not to have used unjustifiable or excessive force.
He punched me
He did, and he slapped.
and I
your
called for
coffee.
blood
Yes, ma'am. And he slapped the coffee out of your hand.
and burned the back of my left hand.
Yes.
So all I get was multiple injuries from this
Exactly.
incident.
And so verifiably, it does appear that this was
An
unjustifiable.
embarrassment.
Absolutely. And so you are empowered by specifically Article 19(4) of the Constitution that says that where the arrest is unlawful, you shall be entitled to compensation.
I like those ones.
Yes, ma'am.
Further, when we look at the private law, we see that there was reason to see that there's assault and battery. Assault is the apprehension of immediate force that causes you to feel harm or pain or even annoyance. and battery is the actual act of infliction of that force.
Yes.
Okay, so we would have seen that based on what you have shared with us.
Oh, I gone through abuse and I don't even know what it feels like to have another human being hands on me, but yeah, I was.
It's arbitrary. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely,
it's a
that's
use
what
of
we're here
power.
for, Ms. Bradley.
In our opinion.
Further, as it relates to the false imprisonment, that would be the police being able to take you into custody without any reasonable suspicion, and also it would be deliberate, it's against your will, and they do not have the legal justification to do so.
I never once told me why. And whatever reason they said, it still wasn't justified.
And so we want you to know, Ms. Bradley, all of you have said, these are not abstract concepts. These are actual matters. Local courts as well as the United Kingdom Privy Council have repeatedly shown where constitutional rights have been violated. There is a supreme upholding of these rights, and persons have been rewarded compensation. I think as late as 2 months ago, we saw where a husband and wife who were arbitrarily arrested for the fraud, arbitrarily arrested and detained, received upwards of $130,000 by the Supreme Court, again, by the police, not
I mean,
exercising the
Compensatory
proper
damages are nice,
procedures.
but my reputation, I need those police officers to make a public apology.
Yes, Ms. Bradley, we definitely can seek that.
Public
We want
apology.
you to know that you may be able to be entitled to not only this compensation, but also vindicatory damages. And this kind of damages provides where the court will provide a declaration to say that your rights were breached, and then also we can request a public apology from the police as it relates to your reputation. Further, there are exemplary damages. These are the damages which causes the court to look at the conduct of the police officer and just to justify that it was wrong and egregious.
Yes.
Further, you look at aggravated damages. You said you had humiliation and embarrassment. The courts also may award damages in this regard. Okay? Thank you, Bradley. Thank you so much. And do you have any further questions for us today?
No, thank you for listening to me.
Yes, Ms. Bradley.
We'd also like to offer you with a bit of information
Yes.
as it relates to a few crisis and counseling centers. We're not saying that you necessarily need it, but we do have 24/7 contacts available.
Wait, I gotta pay for that too, because
No.
don't forget I already got the psychiatrist still now.
So there is the Bahamas Crisis Center,
Okay.
as well as the Bahamas Department of Social Services. They have 24-hour hotlines where you can contact them.
Okay.
They call them.
And it's anonymous?
Yes, completely anonymous, also free. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, free I like.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ladies. Before you go, Ms. Bradley.
We just would like to leave you with a retainer form.
Okay.
Retainer basically sets out our fee structure, your obligations, our obligations, and our methods of payment and our contact information, should you decide to retain us. I know you may be wondering about cost. Our cost for this service is estimated at $10,000,
Okay.
and our retainer is 25%, so $2,500. And that's just to cover any disbursements or any service of
Anything
documentation.
that may come up.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, just to commence advocating on your behalf.
Okay.
Once again, Ms. Bradley, we want to thank you for coming in
Thank
today.
you.
We admire your courage for sharing
Thank you.
with us everything that transpired.
Yes, ma'am.
Do I take some excuse one second?
Yes.
I'll walk you up, Ms. Bradley.
Okay, walk you out.
Thank you, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There are again so many different issues going on.
Absolutely.
You know.
I mean, we have so much, but I'm really alarmed that the way that she was treated, clearly, there's no reasonable suspicion, based on what she has given us. She's wearing a green hoodie.
Yes.
The person is wearing a red hoodie.
And that is mistaken identity.
Exactly, and also there were witnesses, students who also could attest to it as well. So perhaps if she retains, we can definitely see if she can give us the name of that student before today.
I
And
think she
then,
said Carol Shaw.
right,
Yes.
and after it's okay for us to speak to Pastor Whitlock.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. Also, I'm not sure if she would made a complaint to the Complaints and Corruption Branch, or maybe we can do that as well if she decides to what's next.
And she may want us to do it for her, so,
Absolutely. But she does appear to have reasonable grounds to have a very successful case as it relates to all the different breaches and the compensation that the courts may provide.
yeah, and she's definitely paid that for her post altercation, situations as it relates to her medication, the pain and suffering with her fractured ribs, the fact that she basically was out of $18,000.
Yeah.
So it's heavy that the police have left to charge off, so
But that will come under a special charges,
absolutely.
especially with the ongoing therapy and medication, you can also look into that as well.
I think, rather she retains us, we need to put together a very strong pre-action protocol now. We need to definitely stipulate the nature of this case, and any particulars that the police may need to verify. Again, it's pretty egregious, the fact that she was arrested, she was detained, she was basically punched, she was slapped.
Yeah, and she was bleeding as well.
Yes, I know, it seems like no medical attention was tended to her.
And it actually is provided in the law that where there is, some type of medical issue happening, the police are obligated to seek medical help for persons who are in custody. Okay, Ms. Roach, I will begin drafting the protocol that I believe Ms. Bradley should get back to us soon.
Okay.
Are you able to call the police?
I can do that for you, yes.
Okay, and I will also undertake, should you retain us, to contact the school to see if they have any surveillance of the incidents. And are you able to reach Mr. Shaw, her student?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. Let's also see if we can get, a copy of the detention record.
Yes.
And whether or not she signed it, because she must have signed that as well, given that she was in the police station for an excess of 12 hours.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's it for us today. We'll pick this back up in the morning.
Okay.
All right.
I need to speak with some lawyers about an ordeal that I experienced some months back.
You understood what's your name?
Anna Hope Bradley?
Hello, Stevens Bradley. I'll see counsel is ready for you. Thank you, Ms. Wine. Counsel, Ms. Bradley is here to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
1 second while I get.
Sure.
Bradley, they'll see you now, okay?
Hi, good afternoon, Ms. Bradley. Welcome to Human and Associates. Please follow me. I am a Shana nurse, and we will be joined by my colleague, Mr. Duran Bowen.
Good afternoon, Ms. Bradley. How are you doing? Please have a seat. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you. That is quite a lovely bag.
Yes, I didn't want to put it on display, but all right.
So, Ms. Bradley, we appreciate that you got here on time. We want to maximize on everything that we have to do today. So we really want to thank you for getting here.
Yes, is this your first time meeting with an attorney? I know it can be a little overwhelming, but we want to assure you that this is a safe space for you. Everything that you say here stays here, all right? And we don't want you to feel intimidated by both of us being here.
Okay.
It's
kind of obvious, so.
Yes, it is our firm's policy to have 2 attorneys at every initial client meeting, so that there is always someone available to you that has first-hand knowledge of your matter, all right?
Okay.
So, Ms. Bradley, we've asked our secretary to hold all of our calls so that we can give you our undivided attention. So we want you to feel safe and comfortable. And we also want your undivided attention. So if you could please put your phone on silent or possibly vibrate, whichever makes you fee better.
I left my phone in the car.
Okay, that works out perfectly well.
No distractions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
And there is a $500 fee attached to today's meeting. Our secretary informed us that you were able to settle that before coming in. That fee simply covers our time today and any preliminary advice we provide to you. Great.
So essentially, this is how today is going to go. We're going to let you tell us what happened to you, what brought you here today, and then we're going to be taking notes and just trying to capture everything that you've said. Once we need any clarification, we're going to interject and ask for that clarification. At the end, we'll give you any potential legal advice, and we'll also give you some possible legal options. So if you choose to retain us, we hope you feel confident with that.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, before we begin, Ms. Bradley, we've created a file for you as a part of our lawyer-client policy. And so we just want to get some personal details. Is it Miss or Mrs. Bradley?
Miss.
Miss.
Miss Anna Hope Bradley.
And one, is that together?
Anna Hope is one word, yes, ma'am.
And where do you live?
I live on 23 University Boulevard.
Can we have a contact number for you?
Sure, 422-2333.
Ms. Ms. Bradley, do you have an address, an email address, sorry, that we can use?
archonhope@glendoyleuniversity.com. archonhope@glendoyleuniversity.com.
Thank you. And Ms. Bradley, hope you don't mind, how old are you?
Do I have to make fun of the gentleman? I was born March 18th, 1979.
So much for that information. So we received your message and we know that you had some trouble with the police. We are very sorry to hear that. And was this one incident or was this a series of events?
It was an amalgamation of events in one incident.
And when did this occur?
Like about 6 months ago, September 24th, 2025. Like 6 a.m. in the morning, maybe 6:05, 6:10, something like that.
And so where did this occur?
Okay, so you want me just to kind of set the premise?
Sure.
Okay, so the coffee shop is near my residence, 23 University Boulevard,
Yes.
which is also near the university. So everything is close to the university, close to home. That's synonymous to me.
Yes.
So after I paid for my coffee, I left the shop. Oh, I must note, it was a cold front. So I had on some jeans, a t-shirt, and a designer green hoodie. Now, that's important because that hoodie cost me $18,000.
Okay.
Right? It was personally signed from the artist in Florence, Italy, limited edition. So I already bought my coffee and I'm on my way home. I'm not even walking 5 minutes. And all I hear is the police just pull up right on the side of me, right? Like I don't even know what's going on. I jump a little bit and all they're doing is yelling and shouting, you know. 2 policemen, male police officers, they come out the vehicle. One of them hit my hand where I was holding the coffee. And of course it's hot. So it burned the back of my left hand.
Yes,
You
Ms.
know.
Bradley, I'm so sorry to interrupt. We want to ensure that we capture everything that you're saying to us. Did you identify the police officers?
They're black.
Did you get the name of these officers?
Everything happened so quickly.
At any point in time, do you think you could identify them at another point if you were to see them?
Absolutely.
Was there
Without a shadow of a doubt, I could identify them.
Did you by any chance get a badge number or anything? Did you see anything that you could remember?
Yeah, me and numbers don't go well together. So I didn't make a note.
Okay, that's okay. We understand that it was a surprise. We want to make sure that we are understanding of that, okay? So Ms. Bradley, we want you to continue from there so that we can get some more information.
Where was I?
So you were saying that the one policeman hit your hand?
Right.
And then you got hurt.
Right. So then after that now, I still don't know what's going on. They're yelling, they're shouting, and all they say is, you in the hood, you going to jail. And I'm like, don't go into jail. Who they talking to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I like they talking to somebody else behind me. I don't understand. So they didn't really give me any chance to say anything, but one of my students, oh wait, no, I gotta let you all know. People were recording me. So this incident is happening in public, right? I'm an associate professor at the university.
Ms. Bradley, I just wanted to interrupt for a second. You said that the policeman, that they told you that you and the hoodie, you're going to jail. Did they give you any reason at all for why they were arresting you?
No, and I could get to that, but no.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And which university do you work at?
Glendoyle? Like the email that I gave you?
Yes, I just want to confirm. I don't want to make any assumptions.
Okay.
And you said people were videotaping you?
My neighbors, some of the university students, I presume, right? I would recognize some of the faces. But right, so let me continue. Want me to-
Yeah.
Okay. So, one of my students, Kyle Shaw, oh, thank God for Kyle, he went up to the policeman and asked the policeman, what's going on. So the policeman said that there was a woman that robbed the coffee shop, and she had on a red hoodie, right? So my student, he looks at me obviously, and he's like, but she has on a green hoodie. I mean, as green as the blouse that I'm wearing right now. And the officer was like, well, that's just how quick they change their clothes. And so, the officer also said that, these women just like to rob these shops because they want to buy wigs and get their fingernails painted. I mean, I'm sorry, nothing about me is fake, right? So.
Ms. Bradley, I'm sorry to interject. You're giving us a lot of information and we appreciate how detailed you're being, but we do want to take it at a pace that we can both gather the notes that we need, okay?
Want me to slow down?
Yeah, just slow down a little
Okay.
bit so we can capture the information.
Where do you want me to slow down?
So you said that Kyle Shaw had talked to the police and that he had.
So the police told Kyle, let me help you a little bit here. The police told Kyle Shaw that a woman wearing a red hoodie
Mhm.
had robbed the coffee shop.
Yes.
As I mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
I was wearing a.
Green hoodie.
So then Kyle says to the police officer, well, sir, she has on a green hoodie, And the officer said, well, that's just how quick these girls has changed their clothes. So when I heard the officer say that, I told him, I said, look, I was at the library an hour ago. The coffee you hit out of my hand and burned my left hand, I just paid for that.
Yes, and did you see any medical attention for the burn that you sustained?
Yeah, but we get into that. I won't go jump up some serious
Okay.
pertinent facts. Let me just get to it.
And at this point.
But yes, I did seek medical attention for that, to answer your question.
And at this point, did they physically handcuff you at this point? I know they said that they.
No, that's just it, right? So this whole ordeal going on, I guess about maybe 30 minutes, because, they didn't confiscate anything. They didn't put handcuffs on me, but they shoved me in the car. Now, I might be exaggerating a little bit by shoving, but I was placed in the police car, right? And after that, we finally arrived at Central Police Station. And again, no officers are saying anything. We're still dealing with the two male officers now.
Yes.
These supposedly officers that arrested me without cause or whatever, but I'm there and they didn't say anything to me.
Mhm.
They didn't say why I was
Yeah.
under arrest. They didn't explain why they arrested me. They just put me in this room and walked on and closed the door, and I'm in this room by myself.
So, Ms. Bradley, I just wanted to confirm that at no point they had told you that you had the right to an attorney, that you had, did none of these things happen?
So now I'm in this room, right?
Mhm.
Feeling like it's a cell without the actual bars.
Mhm.
Then this third police officer comes into the room. I can answer your question, sir. Let me get there. Comes into the room with a notepad and he puts it on the table and then he says, okay, ma'am, it's time for you to confess. Confess. Now, at this point now, my patience and my frustration, I'm at a peak. I'm at a ceiling. And so I'm like, I didn't do anything. Can I please make a phone call to a lawyer?
And what was the response of the police officer?
I was denied that request. So at such time, I picture this. Look at me. Male police officers. I asserted myself. I then stood up and I went closer to the male police officer. And I'm now demanding, I need to make a phone call. I did not do anything. I need to call my lawyer. So the police officer says, lawyer ain't gonna help you. And then he punches me in my stomach. That was my response. His response to my request. And then he walks out the room. right? So naturally, I keel over and yelp in pain, and I'm coughing up blood. I'm in this room, in this jail room, so to speak, by myself.
Ms. Bradley?
No medical attention, not even a question of if I needed any.
Ms. Bradley, that is a very traumatizing thing to go through. I am so sorry you had to go through that. And it seems like it's a bit hard for you to relive this experience, but I thank you for giving us the time to really share everything that happened. It will really help us today in assessing your issues, okay?
I sure hope y'all could help me.
Do you need a minute? Would you like anything?
No, let's just, it's already hard enough going through the story.
Yeah.
Let's just try to get through this.
Okay. Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, so then, like I mentioned earlier, they didn't confiscate or take anything, so I still had my cell phone, my watch, and, all of that, so I'm making a track of time, and, I mean, obviously, I didn't sleep, I'm in that room, by myself, no windows, no ventilation, and there was a little slit on the ceiling that, I was able to get some type of air from it, and I just kind of perched myself up in the corner, and just bided time, I guess. So maybe 6 the next morning. So I'm now experiencing this ordeal for 12 hours, right? Thankfully, Pastor James Whitlock came for me. So now a female officer opens the door to the room that I was locked in and says that I am free to go. And it's interesting that I say female because this entire time, there was no females. I was being manhandled by men, right? But she comes and she says that I'm free to go. So when I see Pastor Whitlock, he informs me that my incident went viral on social media. Everybody saw it. And furthermore, the police officers, they have, sorry, not the police officers, they have camera footage of the actual robbery. And would you believe that the woman that robbed the coffee shop, my pastor says, obviously looks nothing like me. She was wearing a red hoodie and she was short, fat. Now I know I short.
Definitely. Yes, Ms. Bradley.
So, after that had happened, and we were about, before Pastor Whitlock take me to the hospital, he did also inform me that he spoke with the officer in charge. And the officer in charge told him that I should have never spent the night in jail. I was not under arrest. They already caught the person, and it was just an oversight.
Did he get the name of the police officer that was in charge?
If he did, I didn't inquire.
And did the female police officer that came into the cell or the third officer that hit you, did you get a name or any identifying things about them?
No, other than I can tell you what they look like if I see them.
That is helpful, Ms. Bradley. You mentioned that Pastor Whitlock spoke to you before he took you to the hospital. Which hospital did you go to?
It's a university hospital.
And were you able to get a medical report?
I mean, they ran a lot of tests and prescribed a lot of medication. My hospital bill was like 48 grand in total. And that's not even including the psychiatry bills that I have after that, because the doctor referred that I go and see a psychiatrist because of the PTSD I may have incurred.
So Ms. Bradley, I want you to be very intentional in this point. I want to hear exactly how you felt after this entire experience. In your own words.
Loss of dignity. Embarrassed. Violated. Did I say embarrassed?
Yes, you did. But I understand the emphasis on embarrassed. I understand that it's very important.
Yes, a very embarrassing situation.
Whatever social media and the internet, you can't take that back, whatever's out there. And what hurt me even more too, my neighbors, because, we're all, like I said, my home, the university synonymous, they were spreading rumors and talking bad about me in the WhatsApp group, and and some of my students are actually a part of the WhatsApp group. Boy, thank gosh for my students, because they were trying to take up for my character, for the person that I am. I mean, people were looking at me in scorn.
So this affected more than you and the physical injuries that you incurred.
It's my
It impacted your
livelihood,
life,
ultimately.
your social life, your work life.
Yes.
Ms. Bradley, at any point in time, did you feel as though you were super exposed because of this when you were in the public eye?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I recognize a few of my neighbors, in the midst of all of the hurried trauma, so to speak. But I mean, my reputation is tainted for something that I still don't even know what happened.
And I can understand your frustration. Nobody should have to go through what you went through. And Miss Bradley, did this affect your job in any way?
Yes and no. Yes, because, I had to undergo extensive physical therapy, psychiatric counseling, help. But fortunately now I am back in the classroom teaching, so that's good, but I am still seeing a psychiatrist once a week. And I've been seeing that psychiatrist about 8 weeks now. You know how much it is to see a psychiatrist for 1 hour? $500. I've already spent $4,000 and counting,
And for the time that you
just to repair my mental status.
yes, I understand this probably.
That's not even physical.
For the time you were off, were you being paid at this time?
And insurance is a scam, albeit the university did provide insurance, yes, but I say a scam because I personally don't believe in it. I still had to dole out, thousands and thousands of dollars. The insurance paid maybe a quarter. So I still had to end up paying between 37 and 42 grand.
Do you have evidence like in terms of receipts or anything that we can?
Not with me, I can bring them back.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Bowen, do you have any further questions for Ms. Bradley?
Hold on though. There's one little thing.
Yes, please.
I want to sue the police department. And I want to sue the arresting officers for what they did to me. And if I can't get justice that way, now y'all could stop me anytime you want, but let me tell you something. My students, they got the camera footage of the whole incident. You know how smart my students are? They say that they could use AI. They could use AI to create and fabricate something making it look like the police officers committing a crime. In the event that I don't get justice, I can always put that out online for the world to see that these police officers are committing a crime. I mean, like I said, you could stop me anytime.
Ms. Bradley,
Just wanted to put that out there.
Ms. Bradley,
Yes, ma'am.
now the fact that your students have footage of the incident is very helpful to us. However, as attorneys, we have an ethical duty and we cannot encourage you to tamper with evidence.
I mean, okay, that's nice. That's nice to hear you say that, but it would be
Also-
good to teach them a lesson.
Also, Ms. Bradley, although we appreciate that you want justice, because what has happened to you is truly horrific. But this can actually jeopardize your case or any potential case that you may have. And we would not want the unedited version to get out. Imagine this would affect your credibility in court.
I respect that.
All right. So please allow me to recap. I just want to ensure that I captured all of the information. And if at any point I have missed anything, please do not hesitate to stop me, all right? So on September 23rd, 2025,
24th,
24, thank you.
6 a.m., thereabouts that time.
Yes, around 6 a.m.
you were at a coffee shop near your house and also the university where you work, which is Glendale University. You had paid for your coffee and you were on your way home when you heard sirens and two male black police officers approached you and hit your hand, causing the coffee that you were holding to burn you.
Correct.
And they told you that you were going to jail.
Right.
And this incident was being recorded by your students
And my
and
neighbors.
your neighbors. And one of your students, Kyle Shaw,
Kyle Shaw, yes.
yes, he approached the police officer and the police officer informed him that there was a robbery committed by a woman in a red hoodie of the coffee shop and that they were arresting you on that basis. And he said to them, well, you have on a green hoodie, so you could not possibly be the person that they were looking for.
Right.
To which the police officer responded, that is how fast they change. They then placed you into the police car and you arrived at the central police station. And at this point, no reasons were given for your arrest. And once you arrived at the police station, you were placed in a room by yourself. And a third police officer entered some time afterwards with a notepad and demanded a confession from you for the crime which you clearly did not commit.
Yes.
You then became agitated and you requested to speak with your attorney, and that was denied. You then approached the officer to demand to speak to your attorney, and to which he punched you in your stomach. And that resulted in you coughing up blood, and at that time, no medical attention was given. In this room that you were placed in, the conditions were very, were not fit.
Cold.
Yes, it was cold, and you also explained that there were no windows or ventilation in the room. Around
Thank God I'm not claustrophobic because I would have had a conniption fit.
Yes. Around 6 a.m. the next day, 12 hours after you were arrested, Pastor James Whitlock came to the police station to get you, and a police officer unlocked the door and told you that you were free to go.
Female police officer.
Yes. And you were later informed by Pastor Whitlock that a video was actually circulating of you and had gone viral of the incident which would have occurred with the police officer. And that there was also camera footage of the robbery clearly showing the suspect that the police was looking for in a red hoodie, and the suspect did not meet your description.
Your shorthand is excellent.
Pastor, thank you. And at this point, no reasons still were not given for you being arrested. You then went to the hospital, which is the university hospital, and you were able to receive a medical report, and your injuries totaled about $48,000. You also had to go to a psychiatrist because of PTSD. This whole experience left you feeling as though you had lost your dignity.
I've already spent $4,000 plus on the psychiatry bill also. I gotta be paid.
Yes.
I gotta be put there. Because if we're gonna sue, I need my money.
Agreed. And this left you feeling very embarrassed and violated. This has also affected your job. You have needed physical therapy and psychiatric help, and you are still seeking psychiatric help, and it is about $500 a session and counting.
Insurance don't cover that.
Yes, which is not covered by the insurance. And during this time that you had to receive medical attention, you were not being paid from the university, and you would like to sue the police department and the arresting officer. Have I captured everything correctly?
Indeed.
Okay.
So, Ms. Bradley, I've identified some legal issues that I would like to go through with you. And I might use some terms that you may not understand. So just please stop me if at any point you need some clarification. So I wanted to start with your rights. So the Constitution is the supreme law of the Bahamas, and any person within the Bahamas, their rights will be protected under this. And it seems like some of your rights may have been breached in
Some?
Yes, in particular, Article 17, where it seems that you were subjected to inhuman and degrading treatment.
It was absolutely inhumane.
The conditions of the cell that you have mentioned, particularly no ventilation, that in itself is inhuman treatment. It's hard to see how someone could survive if a work would have done you in there. Also, the way that they treated you in public, as well as the public spectacle and the fact that it was recorded, and how embarrassing the interaction was, particularly how they addressed you.
Yes.
This also could be considered as degrading treatment, and the way that they communicated about how you were possibly a robber and didn't even have confirmation. All these things could have damaged your reputation, and it could have made it even more degrading and feel even more inhuman to you. And I understand that that is something that you've been hurt by. So that is one breach. The second breach is the deprivation, the deprivation. The second breach is that you were deprived of your liberty,
The deprivation.
deprivation of your liberty, and based on the fact that there was no reasonable suspicion, as well as there were no reasons that were provided until after, that I would believe that this would constitute an unlawful arrest. Even though they did not physically handcuff you, based on the fact that they told you that to stop and that you're going to be arrested, and then they compelled you to get into the car, this would basically be considered a constructive arrest. And based on the fact that there was
Constructive?
a constructive arrest. where they didn't-
Constructed.
So essentially, that would be the unlawful arrest, and then any time that you spent in police custody after that arrest would be called unlawful detention. And these together could give rise to false imprisonment.
So I have a case?
So you do have some grounds for different claims for a case.
Okay.
So I also wanted to point out to you that there are 2 instances of battery that I would have noted, where a battery is simply the use of force that was used. It would have been excessive force, particularly when you were arrested. Any force used while you are unlawfully arrested would be considered a battery, and also the instance with the third policeman where he would have hit you, that would also be considered a battery. Okay, Ms.
Where he hit me, where he punched me. I'm still listening, yes.
Ms. Bradley, I understand this is hard for you to relive, and we want you to understand and hope that you understand that we are listening to you and we've taken these steps to try to give you some good legal advice today.
Yes, now Ms. Bradley, I know that you feel strongly about suing, and I just want to inform you that should you choose to proceed to go to court, the rules of court actually require us to first try to resolve the matter before approaching the court, all right? So this would begin with what we call a pre-action protocol letter, and this is simply a formal letter that we will write to the state outlining what has happened to you, why we believe that the police has acted unlawfully, and how that conduct has affected you, as well as any relief that we would like to see in order for you to get justice. Now, this allows the state to give us a response and potentially settle it before we even get to court.
But hold on though, I need a public apology. My reputation is sullied, tarnished. My merit out the door.
Yes.
These police officers, if I can't get enough funds or monies, so to speak, from this action, they have to still be held accountable for the treatment. I want a public apology. A public apology.
Ms. Bradley, we will take note of that. I also would like to let you know that court can be very difficult. We know how embarrassing this whole situation has been for you, and the details of this matter will be made public. And also the other side will have an opportunity to actually challenge what you have said to us. And we know that this can be very overwhelming for some persons. Also, court can take a very long time, and it can be very costly, not just in terms of money, but psychologically and emotionally.
Oh Lord, my psychiatry bill got to go through the roof.
Yes, and we would not want to put you through any unnecessary trauma. Also, we do not have any control over the court process, which means that we cannot guarantee an outcome. Each case is decided based on the particular facts of that case, all right? But Ms. Bradley, ultimately, the choice is yours. And we are simply here to help you restore your dignity and also to find solutions that align with your needs.
So, Ms. Bradley, we think that negotiation is an out-of-court option that would be best suited for you based on what you told us. So essentially, negotiation is basically two parties meeting to resolve an issue that we have. So in this case, the party will be the state and the police officers who are acting on behalf of the state. And we will be presenting to them different ways that we can resolve this situation, such as you said, an apology, but we can also probably suggest sensitivity training. We can also probably
Because
present.
nobody else needs to experience what I
Yes, for
experienced
sure.
unjustifiably, and even, no, there's never ever a justifiable reason to be treated the way I was treated.
Exactly, I agree. And also policy reform, as well as compensation, or a combination of these things. So I want you to appreciate that there is room for you to have other options, okay?
Okay.
And also, I believe that based on the scenarios that you've told us, based on what's going on, that the police wouldn't want that kind of image out there. We already know that there's a level of distrust with the police nowadays, yeah? So we want to, encourage that we can handle this privately. So once we send the pre-action protocol letter, we will be able to initiate negotiation proceedings. And even if that were to fail, you will not be prevented from going to court after if it wasn't successful.
And this letter that you're saying that I'm going to receive, should I retain you as my counsel, do I also need to provide whatever additional receipts and records, or would you be able to ascertain that information beforehand?
Yes, so I actually have some next steps that I believe that we should take. Firstly, I will need to get the medical report from you so that we can assess the physical injuries and also the psychiatric injury that you would have
I had a couple ribs fractured from that punch.
So we will need a medical report. We will also need receipts from your psychiatric sessions.
And my medication that I have to get refilled every month. That totals to about maybe $300, in addition to my psychiatric bills.
Yes, and Ms. Bradley will also source the video of the incident, which you said went viral. That will be very helpful in substantiating your version of events. And also, we will need to get a witness statement from Mr. Kyle Shaw.
Kyle Shaw, no problem.
Yes.
Do you need his number?
Yes, that would be very helpful, but we'll take that information from you.
At another time.
Yes, we'll let our secretary reach out to you for that. And we will also need your payslip as well as your.
Way too much, but okay.
That is fine. And
I can afford you though.
so we will need to see a copy of your payslip. And we can also prepare a legal opinion for you, which would just outline all of the options we have provided within about a week or so. But before we are able to make any further steps, we will need you to formalize our agreement. And
You will need me to
formalize our agreement.
formalize, okay?
Yes, so we have prepared a retainer agreement for you.
Okay.
And this simply outlines our roles and obligations as your attorneys and also as you as the client. And
Do you need me to
that's
sign
how-
this now, or can I take this home with me?
If you feel confident, you can sign it now, but if you need a bit more time, it's totally fine to take it. Okay.
Let's give you.
Yes, that would be lovely. Just make sure it doesn't get unnecessarily discarded.
So Ms. Bradley, do you have any questions for us?
No, I think, do I get water to go?
And Ms. Riley, we also wanted to give you a business card so that you can be able to contact us.
Thank
So
you.
we are available at those numbers from 8 to 4, Monday to Friday.
Okay.
You can also email us. If it is an urgent situation, please email and we will reach out to you as soon as we can, okay?
And you have my email down?
Yes. Ms. Bradley, thank you so much for coming in today. It was lovely to meet you, unfortunately under such circumstances, but it was very lovely to meet you.
Yes, and we appreciate the strength you had to really share this with us today, and we hope that we have assisted you.
Thank you. for
Yes.
listening.
You're welcome.
Please let me see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was an interesting case. I've never seen a client that went through so many hard things in such a short space, and especially with the police. I usually dealt with other matters, but this is a particularly hard one that I've had to deal with.
Yes, I honestly couldn't imagine what she must be going through at this time. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get all of the injuries that she sustained.
Yes.
But the medical report definitely will be helpful in helping us to know exactly
Yeah.
what was sustained and also the cause. And I think we should really get started on the legal opinion, but our colleague, Miss Bury, I know she dealt with a matter similar to this about a month ago.
Yes, she really does kind of focus on this kind of constitutional police misconduct, these kind of things. So we probably should give her a call.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, Ms. Bury.
Hi, Miss Bowen. Mr.
Hi.
Bowen.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm here with Ms. Nurse, and we just had a client, and we wanted to discuss some constitutional matters with you, particularly ones with the police. Would you be able to step into our office for a minute?
Sure, I can come now.
Okay, thank you. She's on her way. Oh, okay.
Again, I know this is the most exciting part of the evening. First of all, I must say, let us give our students a tremendous round of applause. And I'd like to quickly do the court of notes, assisting So they always say in advocacy, the best form of advocacy is brevity. And therefore, you all didn't come to hear me yap this afternoon, really. But what you did come to hear is from the assessors, from our judges. So let me quickly introduce them. We have Madam Justice of Appeal, Deborah Fraser, who is sitting senator. We have Ms. Rodriguez Strawn, Council Attorney at Law. It is a very unique position in having actually participated in the competition at some point in time. So I don't know how to interpret us, look how nice it is. And we have, of course, Ms. Christina Galados. Christina is a former student of ABS, okay. Several years ago. And is now a senior attorney in practice at all levels. And I think the panel has determined that Ms. Galados will be the one to give the remarks on behalf of the assessors, and then to give discourse the particular teams. I must say one thing, I think I did introduce her earlier, I'm not quite sure if I did, Justice Scarlett Stubbs, who wrote the problem on behalf of Yes, so Christina, please come forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. So some general comments before we get into the specifics. I think you all did very, very well. It was what I would consider it was executed very, very well. You guys all spoke with confidence. For the most part, you dealt with the issues, and I am so proud of you. The future is bright. So dealing first with the first team, Norman Manley, we basically have some specific comments for all of the teams. Regrettably, we didn't get names, so forgive me in my descriptions of you, please. So Norman Manley, I have here that the female for Norman Manley had a very soothing voice. Very soothing. Very soothing. That was a major asset. You offered her water. That was a very good gesture. I thought the mail, it was a good question to ask if she spoke to another attorney. As attorneys, that's something that we always want to know, and I thought to get that out the way upfront was good. All in all, you guys were very good at making the client feel at ease. I have some comments in terms of, I thought it was an excellent question of the name of the student witness. You got into that right away. That was fair. Asking if anyone recorded the incident, that was a good question. Asking about the police officers was very good. I thought you guys could have done a bit more with description, because I think she said, okay, he was black. I think she kind of left it there. I think you could have jogged her memory a bit. Tall, short, slim, heavy built, you know what I'm saying? Trying to find out if she had an alibi at the library was very good. It showed that you were thinking on your feet. I thought that was excellent. Figuring out the time that she was in the room alone. I think she described it as a prison, but really it was a room. That was also good. Because with false imprisonment, the amount of time impacts the level of the award. Getting the medical history, very, very good. One of the things when she said $48,000, I'm thinking, okay, must have been surgery, because usually it's not that high. But you guys did ask about surgery, and so that was good. And I'll just deal with this here. What I found that none of the teams did, what I was looking for was letting the client know that you need a authorization from her to access her medical records. I was looking for that, and that's very important. For her to sign a kind of consent form, all of you asked about the hospital and about the psychiatrist, all of that was good. But you need to let the client know in these instances, usually, you need that consent so that you can then begin talking to the doctors and the nurses and her medical personnel on her behalf. So just be mindful of that the next time you find yourself in that instance. What I thought the mail from Norman Manley dealt with the ethical issue very, very good. I wrote down exactly what you said. You said, Ms. Bradley, I have to stop you there. That was a strong way to deal with the ethical issue. So I thought that was good. Now, the issue that I took with we took as judges with the causes of action is you guys did a good job in mentioning and dealing with the unlawful arrest of false imprisonment. However, there was no mention of the assault and battery. That was a problem for us. The punch to the stomach and coughing up blood, that was really and truly the major cause of action there. And I thought, some mention could have been made of that. Good in getting to the aggravating circumstances, the exemplary damages, all of that was good, all of that was relevant, but missing that cause of action was an issue. All of you dealt with the letter before action, the pre-action protocol, and that's excellent. I always say you never want to go straight to court. You always, always, always want to show the judges, you want to show that you did try and settle it with a letter. And so I think the 3 teams dealt with that. That was very good. Now, the ending part about the retainer. So I have some thoughts about this. Asking her, what you guys did, I think you kind of asked her, do you want to retain us? Yeah, I didn't like that. Asking her whether you would like to retain us, first of all, you didn't talk about money. So if you ask a client, would you like to retain me? And you didn't say the client is going to be $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000. How do they know? It's like asking someone if they want to purchase a product and you don't tell them how much the product costs. So I thought that was a bit uncomfortable. It came across as slightly desperate to me. And so what I would advise is try to avoid asking a client if they want to retain you. Try and find a gentler way to do that. I would offer listening to them, giving them a price, and then asking them if they wish to move forward. like be a bit more vague, you know? And I'll just end by saying that while you want to give a client the impression that they matter, you also want to give them the impression that it won't make or break you if they don't retain you. So it's like a relationship, you know what I'm saying? When you're talking to someone, you may be very, very interested, but at the same time, you don't want to come across as that could scare people away. All right? So those are our comments for Norman Manley. EDLS, nice safe. See, what's your name?
Shavanya.
Shavanya, okay. Again, forgive us, we should have gotten names. Asking if she wanted a straw was a nice save, because she did ask about the glass, we didn't have a glass, we offered a straw. Excellent save. Thanking her for the consultation fee, I thought that was important, that was a very nice touch. Informing her that 2 attorneys were in place so that she would be covered in the event that one is out, that was very good. The way you guys dealt with the confidentiality issue was also excellent. Asking her to describe the police, good. Excellent question about the coffee shop and the library having CCTV footage. Really, really, really good. The questions about handcuffs, I think 2 teams asked about handcuffs. That was very appropriate because that lends to aggravated and all of that kind of damages. I like, Shavanya, you said? I like how you didn't show emotion. I think, you know, my colleagues may differ, but I'm kind of cold and clinical, so I liked so when you got straight to the point of, she said she was punched. You didn't show, you know, this sense of wow on your face. You kept poker face and you said, you know, where did he punch you? To me, that was important because I don't want my clients to feel like I'm shocked and I'm surprised. It's kind of like when you are on an airplane and you see the pilot and the stewardess panicking and you're like, oh, hey. You're not supposed to be panicking. You understand? So good job there. I have that, also, you did a wonderful job in addressing her concern when she said, I thought only female police officers were supposed to handle it. By you responding to that and indicating what the law says on that, you showed competency. And I think that would go a long way with the client realize, okay, she knows what she's talking about and she is able to speak to my concerns and what I've been thinking about on her feet. That was excellent. I like how you guys allowed her to just tell her story. I think one of you asked, I think it was you asked her, how is her stomach now? Yes. Good question. You know, you're showing empathy and it's also a relevant question. You all asked about receipts and invoices, that was good. I thought you guys had a fair dealing with the ethical issues, not much complaints there. Good teamwork between you two, we found. And again, dealing with the specific parts of the law, article so-and-so says that, it shows competence. You were excellent in giving her advice. And I thought that you were very good at referring her to a case that happened recently in the news about a couple.
Yes.
Our comments on that though was, next time try not to give the number. Because I think you said 130,000, did you give the number? Okay, she didn't expect that or something close to and how fast may not be as egregious. Right. Yeah. So next time, if you could just kind of be vague, you know, there was a couple in the Bahamas and they were successful at obtaining an award of damages for assault and battery. Full stop. Don't get into amounts. I thought that you guys were great at offering the contacts to the crisis center. I always try to tell lawyers that train under me, stay in your lane. I don't provide consulate services. I talk to you about the law. I try to empathize and all of that a little bit, but I'm not going to get into deep dive into emotions and feelings for where they do that. And so you're talking me something. I love how you guys dealt with the retainer aspect of it. That was very professional. Our retainer is $10,000. Here's the agreement. Go away and think about it. If you want to retain it, just play. If you don't want to retain it, you don't have to. Yay! I like that. I thought that was the most professional that I've seen it in a minute. I thought the comment about complaints and corruptions was very, very relevant, because usually that's what clients are asked in these situations. Did you go to complaints and corruptions? Why did you not go to complaints and corruptions? So very good for that on the post-reflective. Good at parceling out tasks, excellent request for the detention record. Now, one of you kept on saying, wow. Try to avoid that. That's, again, you want to be kind of poker face, make the client feel like, I know what I'm doing here. There's nothing you can say to amaze me, even if you are amazed, don't show it. Also, we thought that the eye contact was poor. You were looking down a lot in writing, and that human contact with the eye contact was kind of missing. So just keep that in mind for next time. And I think that was, as far as the, oh, yes. We had an issue with you proposing, and in the post-reflective, you guys were proposing what you guys were going to do, but y'all weren't retained as yet. So, kind of, if we are retained, if she decides to move forward with us, in the event she gets back to us, and she pays our retainer kind of thing, but you don't want to be strongly proposing, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, if the client has not said, hey, I'm gonna retain you, yeah? So that is EDLS. We move now to Hugh Wooding. You guys did, where are they? Okay. You guys did a good job at setting up. At first, you kind of had your back to the judges, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. But you guys kept on coming and looking, and eventually you adjusted it to where it ought to have been. So good job there. I thought it was an excellent reading. I liked how, I think you went to the reception area together. And you also walked her out. I thought that was impactful. Again, explanation for the two attorneys being present was good. Explaining to her what the $500 is for upfront was extremely professional, because sometimes clients tend to give you that $500 and they think that's for everything. So it's good to let them know this is what it's for, this is what you can expect after paying it. I think you guys are the only ones that asked if she could identify them if she saw them again. That was definitely an excellent question. The KYC, the way you dealt with that was really, really good. I thought asking her to slow down was good. I know I always have to ask them to slow down because you want to take an accurate record of it. You guys were very empathetic with the client, I found. And asking how she felt after the ordeal was very considerate and smart of you to do that. Asking her if she was paid for the time off, I think you're perhaps the only one that did that. That was very, very smart as well. You guys dealt with the ethical issue fairly. I think the issue we had as the assessors is you didn't get on her fast enough. I think she had to say 3 or 4 times, you can stop me, and so I would describe it as lazy. As soon as the client says something unethical, you want to kind of shut that down. Yeah, that's like don't even allow them to feel comfortable going into it. Now, I feel like we all thought that the recap was unnecessary. It was very detailed. We think so. Usually, the way it works in law firms is clients, you do an affidavit or you do a letter, and the way I do it, I send it to the client. I go through the document with the client, and at that point, they tell me what to add, take in. And I thought going through that. You lost a lot of time that way. And so, it wasn't necessary. I think you dealt with the causes of action well. Good explanation on the pre-action protocol letter. Again, I think now what we did not appreciate is it's almost like you were trying to convince her not to go to court. You started talking about court is time consuming and like it could give the client the impression that you're not up for the task. So you don't want to kind of give all the disadvantages and that there are many, right? But you kind of don't want to do that because it could make the client feel like if it has to go there, maybe they're not the ones who will be prepared to take it there. One of you told her that negotiations is best in her matter, and I thought that was a bit premature. Reason for that is you have not spoken to the other side to find out if there's an appetite to negotiate. So before usually you'll write the governor letter, and sometimes, rarely, they'll get back and say, hey, we agree, let us have your claim, we want to settle this. Then you could perhaps go to her and say, negotiations, but without even talking to the other side, how do you say to the client, negotiation is best? So just be mindful of that. I thought that you guys telling her what all the documents she needed at the end was pretty good. That was excellent. You guys did not deal with money at all. You gotta deal with money. You have to deal with money. I don't think there was any mention of it's gonna cost this, or hourly rate is that. Y'all in it for money, right? Again, the same criticism we had with the last team. Getting started on the legal opinion without money being paid, and without the client telling you she's gonna retain you is premature. So avoid those conversations until you are paid, or even if you're doing it pro bono, the client still has to agree that you're going to represent them. And I don't think that happened in this case. I think she took the retainer with her and said she'd get back. So we thought that calling in the third call week to end it was a nice touch. Asking about the badge numbers of the police officers was good and thoughtful. You guys cut it really, really close with the time. I don't know if you realize that, but you were, I don't think they got the full 10 minutes.
57 seconds.
So you just made it. And I think this is a comment for basically all of the teams to kind of control the client. This client in particular is actress. If you let her, she would run on and on and on and on about all kinds of stuff that has no legal relevance. So it's an art to gently, you don't want to control her like you're controlling a witness in cross-examination. That's a different skill. But it's an art to kind of gently get the client to, okay, we're talking about this. And we thought that the business card was a nice touch. And I think you guys were the only ones to ask about pay stubs as well. So excellent all in all. So I will now turn the mic over to Madam Justice Frazier to announce the scoring.
Just before we get into the score, thank you very much, Ms. Galanos. Just popping in before, imagine I jumped in before a judge of the court of appeal. Only today, not tomorrow. Thank you very much, Ms. Galanos. So before Madam Justice Fraser comes, just for 2 seconds, and to delay the suspense and just keep you going a bit, as Christina mentioned, the actress, we have Ms. Arike Archer, who will today, so 2 minutes, Arike.
Arike or Anna Hope? Anna Hope felt, first off, thank you for having me and allowing this opportunity. I hope that I assisted you guys in your learning abilities and whatever and so forth. Anna Hope felt very soothed by the first team. Yes, I agree.
I agree with Attorney Galanis when she said that your voice was soothing, because if my acting wasn't too overt, you can tell that I was kind of shaking, right? I was nervous, I was scared, I was apprehensive, and you made me feel very comfortable. I also felt that you allowed me time strategically to explain what happened in sequential order or chronological order. In addition, I think the both of you also worked well where the lady may have not mentioned something, the gentleman did come in and it wasn't a lull or anything. You guys were strong to start off with. My strong, powerful women team. Roach, if I gotta go to court, I want you on the side. And again, to piggyback on Councilor Galanis, Robert? Good comprehension on you. Oh, I'm hope. Yes, your stoicism maintained my agitation.
Yes.
Because I was you off of your emotions with me already coming in emotive. I did appreciate you bringing up certain articles. The first team didn't. So that gave me an understanding of exactly like what Ms. Galanis said. If I went to court, these people know exactly what they're talking about. And the third team. I felt a little bit rushed. I felt as if the questions also weren't, it wasn't enough to get me to answer the questions y'all really needed. And I felt as if I had to guide you. I had to keep giving you prompts. You know, we say with actresses when you're on stage and you have to learn dialogue and multiple people's lines, if one person drops down, you either gotta know how to improvise or you gotta know the other person's line to know when to step in. I felt unsure most with your team, unfortunately. I kind of felt like it was like, okay, what do you want me to do next when I kind of came to you guys for guidance? And I did feel as if I had to tie in some information in order for you guys to ascertain what y'all needed from me. And I had to be repetitive, like case in point, Glendale University. Another situation again, like Councilor Galanis mentioned, was it toward the end? Oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. But, right. Did like how that was, the fact that you did give me the option to go home to think about whatever retainer services. But I felt as if I didn't feel as that your law firm would be proficient enough to handle my case, if that's okay. So with all that said.
Well, we're not throwing stones at you,
I really would like to take one from one team and one from the other team. But I would have to go with the first one.
So I think it's so important to hear from the client. Why? Because the client is a late person. You see, it's a bunch of lawyers in the room, and we all think in one way. It's very, very important to understand that when you're in practice, they're going to deal with a lay person, and therefore you must understand that. Don't worry, you're going to be in legal aid next year. I'm sure the principal will let you know. So quickly, Madam Justice Carl Stubbs, who wrote, as I said, the scenario, the lady.
Let me do something unconventional. Everybody stand, just stand. Breathe. Because I know you need another result. And I know it doesn't matter what anybody tells you before and after, depending on where you fall. Advocacy is part science, part art. Remember that. Different people have different styles, different people bring different things to it. And what you heard from the judges is the great things teams did, and some of the things that teams will have to work on. And the truth is, in practice, you're working on it every single day. Today, you're going to get it, and you're going to feel like nobody's as good as I am, and then tomorrow, you're going to think, why did I go to law school? It is what it is. And from what I observed, so yes, I wrote the problem. I met the actress, I didn't tell her how to act. You happen to have a loquacious client. Sometimes you have to beg them to speak. This one you had to really, right? It's a learning experience. And I think for first year students, first term in law school, you all executed really well. Don't talk about it. You sat here, you faced somebody you've never seen, some of you a different accent. You had a little bit of anticipation of what the problem was, but you didn't have a clue who was coming through that door. And so I congratulate all of you. It was good to see the problem executed well from the client stage and from the young attorneys. Interviews is they're coming in for a legal issue. You have to treat with the client, so that is empathy skills, that is communicating, that's getting them to buy. But at the end of the day, they want a legal problem solved. And if you can identify a legal problem, cause of action, no remedy without a cause of action, identify that, say these are the possible things that you can get as a relief, you're halfway there. So I know some of you don't look convinced, but from what I observed, you executed really, really well. So hopefully you will go back and think about it and feel really, really good about what you've done here. The other part about having been a former part of the faculty, the other part about this and being a student of Council's Law School, meaning alum, the other good thing is know your colleagues across the region. If everything else fails, make sure this network. You never know where you're going to end up. You never, never, never do, right? Know your colleagues, build the network, continue learning. That's what we do in this profession. So I want to commend the students, I want to commend the coaches because I know will you the coaches, Mr. Guy? Yes. Okay. Because I know it's nerve-wracking for the coaches too, having been there myself, right? But coaches, I know nobody can pay you to do the job that you're doing, but I hope you feel gratified by seeing the students perform under the pressure. So it's been my pleasure, and thank you, Mr. Guy. I'm glad that I was able to attend and observe. And thank you to the judges.
She said, did you have knowledge to coaches? And if I missed.
So are you going to?
Yeah, sorry. It's because it's a bunch of friends, right? From across the region. So we have Mr. Jason Natu, of course, who's the head coach for the Healing University. From the Miami Law School, we have Ms. Kadia Wilson. I want to tell you is because of a bunch of friends here, right? We have people from Trinidad, Jamaica, Guyana, Barbados, from all over the region. Madam Justice Abotini went to Norman Manley. Mrs. Cat Stubbs went to Manley. And we have to use people. It is one family, take it from me. And as Milady said, if nothing else, excellent networking opportunities. Milady is now, she works BVI, she works other places, and is now sent to St. Kitts, Bahamas. It's amazing the opportunities that these doors open. Do not miss them in the urge to win. Do not miss the opportunity that has been given to you. And with that, I call upon Madam Justice of Appeal, Deborah Fraser.
Good afternoon all. Let me first say that today was a day well spent.
Yeah.
I truly congratulate each of the law schools on the job well done. Now, I have a small task, but I know you're anxious. But before I do that, I want to emphasize the importance of client interviewing. If you want to be successful in a matter, you have to be well prepared before you come to court. You have to know your client and you have to know your client's case. You don't want any surprises when your client appears in court. So you need to know your client, like know your customer, know your client. Okay, now, it was a very close competition, but there's only one winner. So in third place, with 34 points, is the Norman Manley Law School. In second place, with 39 points, and I sound like the champion. With 39 points, we have the Hugh.
Okay, guys, can we settle down? Let me thank Madam Justice of Appeal, Deborah Fraser, you say at the best. And of course, let me congratulate all the teams. All the teams. Yeah, I might be students in this law school, but when I was in law school, I could not do what you guys did. I did not have that ability. So I tell you, the world of practice is yours. Shape it as you wish it to be. And with that, I introduce our principal acting, Mrs. Nicole Sutherland King. Give her a remark.
Good afternoon, everybody. Congratulations first. Let me congratulate our main team. I also want to extend my sincere congratulations to our sister schools, the team from the Hugh Law School, the team from Norman Manley Law School. Really has been an excellent opportunity for you to appreciate what it's going to be like on the other side. And I mean, I think all of my comments, everything that I had to say has already been said. I sat and I watched you all in my office, and even though I don't teach each of you, I was so proud of you, honestly. To be performing at the level that you perform, that is really exceptional, okay? There can only be one winner, but you all the winners today. This competition is about collegiality. It is about developing the young talent. What you would have taken away from this today, even me sitting here in this room listening to the commentary, I learned this was a masterclass for you, honestly and truly. I am waiting
to meet all of you illegally. We are so proud of the people that rose to the challenge and decided, I am going to expose myself to criticism. I'm gonna put myself out there. And for you to get this far in a regional competition, that speaks volumes, all right? That means you have courage, you were dedicated, you were diligent, and that is going to serve you very, very well in your practice. So again, we are so very proud of each and every one of you. I want to extend our thanks to our assessors. We appreciate the value of your time, the expertise that you have brought to this space. Masterclass, okay? So everybody go home and run it back in your mind. Masterclass. All right, thank you so much. Madam Justice Card Subs, we appreciate you so much. You see how she fell right into place as she came up here, can you tell? She is in her element teaching, and we thank you so much for taking the time and reaching back, spending the afternoon with us. We're really appreciative of that. And with that, I'm going to, it is time for us to hand out the hardware. To get those lovely pictures, because we know you all are going to be all over social media. So let's, I'm getting
So thank you very much, Madam Principal. I don't know, this is wow. And as the principal indicated, you know we have a saying these days, or if it didn't happen on social media, it didn't happen. That's what my nieces and nephews done. Right? I was telling actually Kadia outside before I got it that I'm still a Facebook person, and my nieces and nephews laugh at me because I agree with Facebook. Really. But just so that we know, it will be on social media, that's why I have principal there. And therefore, I'm going to ask the third place team from Norman Manley to please come forward, including their coach. Selena Forbes. Evan, sorry, Selena Evan. Malik Bennett. And Shelby Saul. And of course, their team coach, Ms. Kadia Wilson, and Charles. Hold on, Ms.
Yeah. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Looking here. And 3, 2, 1.
So yes, we have the team from Hewlett Lower School, please. Ariana Bire, Jerome Bowen, Ariana Bire, Jerome Bowen, Alishana Nurse, and of course the coach, Mr. Jason Natsu. Mr. Justin John Hare, please come forward.
The certificate turn around, wait.
Take a shot with it. Okay, 3.
Don't put me in here.
Remember that okay, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, you give it to peace now. Thank you.
I'm going to be on the team quickly from the YouTube source code. It's bad if I said German gives me the most problems in law school. So mine is close. So we have the coach, Ms. Nigel. Ms. Gemma Roach.
Looking here. In 3, 2, 1.
Bishop Anya Roberts.
Okay, ready in 3, 2, 1.
And then we have Mr. Carol Harry.
Ready in 3, 2, 1.
And can I have Ms. Candice Swain, who assisted Ms. Knowles, please? I saw Candice in the room, actually. She ran back to legal aid. She's also our associate in legal aid. She's probably back. Back in legal aid. Okay, no problem. And now we'll have the presentation. Oh, sorry, group picture. Did you get group shot? Sorry.
I actually prefer if you stand. Yeah. Yeah, please, thank you.
Please will hand over the shield for us, the team, the crew.
Okay. 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1.
Congratulations.
First one.
Awesome.
Two, 1.
Thank you all very much. Emma actually asked if she was the most miserable student in year 1. Yes. I now invite our judges to come forward, Madam Justice of Appeal, Deborah Fraser, Councilor David Galanos, and of course, Ms. Rodriguez-Strong, Councilor David Law. Likewise, come forward, please, Principal. A token of appreciation from EDLS for your hard work today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. All right.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
I know they have the writer of the problem question scenario, Madam Justice Scarlett Stubbs, please. Again, it's a token of our appreciation for assisting us with the problem.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Madam Principal, thank you so very much. And I now invite our Moods Committee Chair, Ms. Patrice Johnson. The thank team will first give me both thanks, and I'm not going to tell you all that Patrice is one of the people that text me at 5 in the morning. The rest of you don't say yes before I did. That means she bothers in the same way. Of course, we have a little token for Patrice. You collected. And it's not for her to have one, but for her entire team.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure everybody had a long day, but I know it was a worthwhile long day. Kudos to all of the teams. Norman Manley, give a clap for Norman Manley. The principal, acting principal, Mrs. Nicole Sutherland King, our support staff, our students. We want to thank all of you for taking time on your very busy schedule, especially our census. We thank you and we appreciate you. And we want to say that this has been an excellent partnership. Both teams, all teams, and all the schools were represented very well. And so with that being said, thank you all for coming. And we have a reception at the back when we all leave here today. Thank you all.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we bring a close to today's proceedings. Congratulations to all the teams that came forward this evening. Please give them a round of applause. Again, thanks to our judges who have the hard task of taking conviction. Now, join us please in the reception hall where we prepared a bit of sustenance for everyone. Thanks again. Enjoy your evening. All right.